The Grand Sterling Hotel, Manhattan. Evening. Jasmine Carter sets down the fourth water glass. Her hand shakes. She's been working since 6 a.m. The glass tilts, water splashes. 3 drops hit the corner of a document. Richard Ashford explodes. 54. Billionaire. Silver hair. Are you stupid? Do you have a brain in that head? He slams the papers down. $400 million, Arabic contracts, and you uneducated idiot, just ruined them. Sir, I'm so sorry, I can... Shut up. He stands, towers over her. This is why we don't hire people like you. No education, no intelligence, just incompetent. He pulls out a $5 bill, throws it at her feet. Pick it up, buy a book, learn to think. Though I doubt someone like you even knows how to read. The entire restaurant stares. Jasmine stands frozen, humiliated. Have you ever misjudged someone so completely it destroyed you? 15 minutes later. Staff break room. Jasmine sits alone. Fluorescent light flickers overhead. The $5 bill is crumpled in her fist. She's not crying. Her jaw is set. Eyes burning. She pulls a textbook from her bag. Advanced Business Arabic, graduate level. Opens it, starts reading, muttering in perfect Arabic. Her fingers touch the necklace at her throat. Her mother's cross. Uneducated, she whispers. Mom, he called me uneducated. Carlos walks in. Head chef, 45. He's worked here for 12 years. He sees the book, does a double take. Jasmine, are you okay? I saw what happened. She answers in Spanish, flawless, rapid, angry. Carlos blinks. Wait, you speak Spanish? Since when? She switches to French, mid-sentence, then catches herself. Return to English. Sorry, I forget to stay in one language when I'm upset. How many languages do you actually speak? 6 fluently. 3 conversations. Her voice is flat. I graduated from Columbia last year. Summa cum laude. Linguistics. I had 4 PhD acceptances. Carlos stares. What are you doing here? Her face shifts. Anger to pain. My mom got cancer. Stage 4, right after graduation. I postponed everything to take care of her. Her voice cracks, just slightly. She died in January, left me with $145,000 in medical debt. So the uneducated girl works 3 jobs. Dios mío, Jasmine, I had no idea. Nobody does, nobody asks. She looks at the $5 bill. They just assume. Before Carlos can respond, a server bursts in. Carlos, they need you. Meanwhile, in the dining room, Richard's table. Tension thick enough to cut. Omar Al-Rahman, Dubai CEO, 50s, on his phone, speaking rapid Arabic, frustrated. Richard tries Google Translate, failing. Patricia Wong, his attorney, 40s, looking stressed. Omar hangs up. My translator has COVID, can't come. My flight leaves in 4 hours. Can't we use an app or... Richard, this is $400 million, 3 languages. We need professional translation, not guessing. Mr. Park speaks Korean, frustrated tone. What did he say? I don't speak Korean, that's the problem. Richard checks his watch. 4 hours. If this deal dies tonight, it's over. He glances toward the kitchen, still angry at Jasmine. Meanwhile, Michael Brennan, restaurant manager, 52, walking past the break room. He hears Arabic through the door, stops, listens. That's not basic Arabic. That's fluency. He looks in, sees the textbook. My daughter studied that at NYU, graduate level. He steps inside. Michael walks into the break room. Jasmine, I'm sorry about what happened. That was unacceptable. She looks up, defensive. It's fine. It's not. He pauses. That textbook. Advanced Business Arabic. How well do you know it? Why? I heard you speaking. That was professional level. She sighs. I specialized in financial Arabic at Columbia. 4 years. Why? The man who called you uneducated is losing a $400 million deal. You're the only person who can save it. She stares. You want me to help him? I want you to show him who you really are. She looks at the $5 bill, her textbook. Why would I help him? Carlos appears. My abuela said, excellence is the best revenge. Long pause. Jasmine stands, straightens her uniform, pulls out a fountain pen from her bag. Engraved, David Carter, UN translator, 1985 to 2012. Her father's pen. What do they need? Michael tests her. French menu. She translates perfectly. Korean article. She summarizes instantly. Can you handle the pressure? Powerful people. They'll test you. My thesis defense was 5 professors trying to prove I didn't deserve my degree. I can handle pressure. She walks. Each step is deliberate. Shoes clicking. Background noise quiets. Other servers watch. Carlos whispers, You don't have to. Yes, I do. For everyone called uneducated because of their job. Table 12. Richard argues with Omar. Papers everywhere. Google Translate failing. Michael interrupts. Mr. Ashford, my apologies. Richard doesn't look up. Not now, unless you found a translator. I have. He reveals Jasmine. Richard looks up, laughs, sharp, dismissive. Her? This is a multi-million-dollar business. Not for uneducated waitstaff. We need professionals. Jasmine ignores him, speaks to Omar. Perfect Arabic, Gulf dialect, formal. The room freezes. Omar's phone drops, eyes widened. He responds in Arabic, testing her. She answers seamlessly. Columbia, 4 years, financial Arabic specialist. Omar's shock transforms to respect. Richard sputters. She memorized phrases. Jasmine switches to Korean. Address Mr. Park. Mr. Park straightens, shocked. He tests her in Korean. She answers flawlessly. Linguistics major, Korean Arabic specialty. Ms. Kim whispers to Mr. Park. She's real. Omar speaks English. Business Arabic requires complex finance understanding. Sharia law. Legal precision. Slides over a document. Dense Arabic. Translate this. Jasmine scans 15 seconds. Begins translating. Musharaka framework. Profit sharing. Western equivalents. Performance guarantees. Milestone payments. Flawless. Patricia checks her phone. Translation apps. Her Yale notes. Goes pale. Whispers to Richard. She's perfect. Better than our firm. Richard's face cycles through emotions. Disbelief. Anger. Anyone can memorize. Omar cuts him off. Firm. This woman just explained Islamic finance better than my legal team. She understands language and culture. Gestures to empty chairs. Please sit, Ms. Carter. Jasmine Carter. Ms. Carter. Sit. She sits at the table, not serving, sitting. Richard was forced to stay seated. Diners watch, phones out, servers whisper. Michael watches, proud. Jasmine reads a Korean section, explains to Omar in Arabic. Timeline misunderstanding clarified. Phased implementation, not delay. Confirmed with Mr. Park in Korean. He nods vigorously. Yes, exactly. Omar and Mr. Park understand each other. First agreement in hours. Richard sits back, arms crossed, jaw tight. Omar leans forward. Excellent, Ms. Carter. But hours of work remain. Complex negotiation. Arabic and Korean simultaneously. Can you handle sustained interpretation? Jasmine checks her watch. 9 p.m. Second job at 10. Looks at contracts. At Richard. Hoping she'll quit. She meets his eyes. Yes, Mr. Al-Rahman. I can handle it. The uneducated waitress can handle it just fine. Richard flinches. Omar frowns at Richard. Power has shifted. Jasmine Carter wasn't always a waitress. Her father, David Carter, was a UN translator. He worked in conflict zones across the Middle East and Africa. In 2012, when Jasmine was 10, he was killed in Syria while translating ceasefire negotiations. A shell hit the compound. He left her his library, books in 23 languages, audio recordings, journals, and one video message she still watches on her phone. Language is freedom, baby girl. Every language you learn opens a door no one can close. No matter what happens, no one can ever make you uneducated. She inherited his gift. Started learning Arabic at 6 to talk to his colleagues. By 12, she was fluent in 4 languages. By 16, she spoke 6. Languages kept her connected to him. She was brilliant. Skipped 2 grades. Got a full scholarship to Columbia at 16. Graduated summa cum laude at 20. Perfect GPA. Linguistics major specializing in Arabic and Korean. 4 PhD programs accepted her with full funding. Columbia, Georgetown, Yale, Stanford. She chose Columbia to stay close to her mother. Then everything changed. 1 week after graduation in May 2024, her mother Sarah was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. Sarah had raised Jasmine alone on a librarian's salary. No other family, just the 2 of them. Jasmine deferred all 4 PhD acceptances, became her mother's full-time caregiver. Insurance covered basic treatment, but experimental therapies and hospice came out of pocket. 8 months later, on January 15, 2025, her mother died. The medical bills totaled $145,000. Now, Jasmine works 3 jobs. A dinner from 6 to 11 a.m. This restaurant is from 4 to 11 p.m. Freelance translation on weekends. Total income about $4,400 a month before taxes. Rent costs $1,200. Minimum debt payments take $800. Food is $150 monthly. That $5 bill Richard threw? Her weekly food budget. She sleeps 4 hours a night. Studies during breaks to keep her language skills sharp. She's applied to 47 professional translation jobs in 11 months. 47 rejections. Too young. Overqualified. Resume gap. The PhD deadline is 3 months away. Even with full funding, she can't afford to go. Not with this debt. Her father's pen stays in her pocket. Her mother's cross hangs around her neck. Her Columbia diploma hides in her apartment. Too painful to look at. She wasn't serving tables because she lacked education. She was serving tables because sometimes love costs everything. Omar leans forward. Ms. Carter, before we proceed, I need clarity. This isn't an academic translation. This is binding legal negotiation. Errors could cost hundreds of millions. Are you prepared for that responsibility? Jasmine sets her father's pen on the table. Opens her notebook filled with notes in multiple scripts. My father translated in war zones at my age. I understand responsibility. Richard interrupts. This is absurd. Michael, what's her employment record? Any issues? Michael's voice is firm. 11 months. Perfect attendance. 0 complaints. Multiple commendations from international guests. That's not professional credentials. Patricia, verify her translations. Patricia pulls out a dense Arabic legal document. Ms. Carter, translate this on site. Jasmine reads aloud in Arabic. Perfect pronunciation. Then translate. This phrase means contractual guarantees, but in Dubai commercial law, it refers to third-party insurance obligations. The U.S. equivalent would be performance bonds with surety requirements. She continues. Catches a grammatical error changing legal meaning. Patricia checks her phone, goes pale, whispers to Richard. She's correct. She caught an error that changed the entire obligation. Better than our usual firm. Mr. Park tests her in Korean. Jasmine responds flawlessly. Then he asks about Jong, Korean relationship-based trust. She explains the cultural framework. Jong represents emotional bonds beyond contracts. That's why Mr. Park wants phased implementation. It builds trust over time. Mr. Al-Rahman's culture prioritizes wasta, social capital through connections. Both value relationships differently. Ms. Kim speaks Korean. She's a cultural mediator, not just a translator. The real work begins. First problem, equity confusion. Omar wants 40%. Richard offers 25%. Both use different cultural frameworks for partnership. Jasmine clarifies both sides, suggests compromise language. Omar is impressed. You should be in diplomacy. Jasmine's voice quiets. I should be finishing my doctorate in that. Second problem, timeline disconnect. Korean lunar calendar versus American fiscal quarters. Jasmine creates a synchronized timeline, explains cultural reasoning, translates to equivalence, both understand. Ms. Kim nods. Finally, someone understands. 3 issues resolved in 20 minutes. Papers being signed. Progress is happening. Richard watches. Can't deny her effectiveness. But Jasmine's hand cramps. She's worked 15 hours. Shakes out her fingers, sips water. Touches her mother's necklace. Server David speaks up. Mr. Ashford, I've worked with Jasmine for a year. She's helped me with Portuguese, Mandarin, and Russian guests. I thought she was being nice. I never asked about her story. I'm sorry. Other servers nod. They never asked either. Omar notices her exhaustion. When did your shift begin? 6 this morning? Different job? 15 hours? And you have another shift? At 10. But we're almost done with this section. Silence. Omar's face shows guilt and respect. Patricia really sees her for the first time. Even Richard's expression shifts. You work 3 jobs? Medical debt doesn't pay itself. Richard speaks quietly. How much? Jasmine meets his eyes. 145,000. My mother's cancer treatment. Richard sees the $5 bill on the table. Does the math. Your mother? Passed in January. The debt didn't. The room changes. This isn't business anymore. It's a 22-year-old carrying impossible weight with impossible grace, doing exceptional work despite everything. Richard tries to regain control. This is an impressive theater, but we can't proceed with an uncredentialed translator for legally binding contracts. It's about liability, insurance requirements, standard protocols. Omar's voice turns cold. Are you suggesting we halt productive negotiations because of paperwork? While my flight departs in under 3 hours? I'm suggesting we follow proper procedure. Omar stands. No, Mr. Ashford. I think you cannot accept being wrong about this young woman. I've worked with translators for 30 years. She is exceptional. If you cannot see that, perhaps we don't share the same judgment in translators or business partners. His hand moves to his briefcase. Mr. Park and Ms. Kim gather their materials. The deal is about to collapse. Patricia pulls Richard aside, whispers urgently. You're about to lose $400 million because you can't admit you were wrong about a waitress. Is your ego worth that much? Richard's jaw tightens. It's not ego. It's exactly ego. She's better than our translation firm. I checked their past work against hers. She's caught errors they missed. Richard returns to the table. Fine, we continue, but I need assurances. Ms. Carter, where exactly did you study Arabic? Columbia University. Professor Hassan Mahmoud. 4 years. Concentration in Gulf dialect and modern standard. Thesis defended in Arabic, English, and Korean. And you're how old? 22. Richard scoffs. So you learned 6 languages by 22 while working multiple jobs. Forgive me if that sounds implausible. Omar's voice is sharp. Mr. Ashford, I learned 5 languages by 20 because I had to. When you grow up between cultures, language isn't a luxury. It's survival. When you have talent and necessity, age is irrelevant. Then Omar asks Jasmine in Arabic about her childhood. She answers. Her father was a UN translator, died in a conflict zone when she was 10. Omar's face changes completely during her explanation. He switches to English, stunned. Your father? What was his name? David Carter. Omar sits down heavily. I knew David Carter. Darfur, 2004. Sudan peace negotiations. He was one of the finest translators I ever encountered. Silence. He pulls out his phone, scrolls through old photos. Find one. Him and a black man in UN vests, 21 years ago. Shows Jasmine. Is this him? Jasmine takes the phone. Hands shaking. Stares at the photo she's never seen. Her father. Younger. Smiling. In his element. Her composure cracks. I was 10 when he died. I've tried to finish what he started. Omar's voice is gentle. He would be very proud of you. He sends her the photo. Mr. Park quietly slides Korean rice candy across the table. My grandmother gives these before important meetings, for clarity and luck, Ms. Kim adds. She also says to judge people by character, not circumstances. Pointed look at Richard. Richard sits alone in his resistance now. Everyone aligned with Jasmine. He sees the photo exchange, the candy, the respect, Omar's emotion, Mr. Park's kindness. For the first time, he looks uncertain. David the server steps forward. Mr. Ashford, can I say something? This is private. I have a chemical engineering degree. This job was temporary in 2017, 8 years ago. Server Maria speaks. I have an MBA. Started during my divorce. Needed stable tips for child support. Carlos from the kitchen. I was a teacher in Mexico. Credentials don't transfer. The revelation lands. Jasmine isn't exceptional. The invisible staff includes engineers, teachers, MBAs, systemic underemployment everywhere. Michael addresses Richard. You come here monthly. Never ask their stories. Never saw them as anything but servers. That's not their failure, it's ours. Richard picks up the $5 bill again, stares at it, looks at Jasmine, sees her differently. Not a waitress. A young woman carrying impossible weight with impossible grace. Omar speaks. Final time. Mr. Ashford, do we proceed with Ms. Carter's assistance, or do I board my flight? 10 seconds of silence. Richard looks at the $400 million contract. Looks at Jasmine. Pride versus profit. Assumptions versus reality. We proceed. His voice has changed. Arrogance gone. Something else there. Maybe shame. Maybe recognition. The negotiation accelerates. Third problem. Technical specifications. Data security requirements across 3 languages. Encryption protocols. Cloud architecture. Compliance frameworks. Jasmine doesn't just translate word for word. She explains concepts in culturally appropriate frameworks. End-to-end encryption has different legal implications under Dubai data law versus Korean privacy regulations. She explains both. Suggests language satisfying both jurisdictions. Then she stops mid-translation. Wait, Mr. Ashford, this section says you're offering 256-bit encryption. Yes, that's standard, but Mr. Al-Rahman's document requests 512-bit. That's not a small difference. It's the difference between standard commercial security and government-grade protection. Richard checks his notes. That must be a typo. Jasmine asks Omar in Arabic. Is 512-bit a core requirement? Omar responds in Arabic. Firm. Yes. Non-negotiable. Jasmine turns to Richard. It's non-negotiable. If we'd signed this, the contract would be void within a week when their security team reviewed it. Patricia's eyes widen. She just saved us from a lawsuit. That error would have easily cost $50 million in legal fees and damages. Richard stares at Jasmine. She just protected his interests better than his own team. Thank you, he says carefully. The work flows faster now. Documents moving. Jasmine translating between 3 languages fluidly, catching nuances, preventing misunderstandings, suggesting compromise language, not just translating, actively negotiating. She proposes timeline adjustments working for both cultures' planning styles, profit-sharing structure, honoring both Arabic and Western concepts. Singapore arbitration as neutral ground, recognizing both legal traditions. Mr. Park speaks. Ms. Carter, you just solved a problem our teams argued about for 3 months, in 15 minutes. Ms. Kim adds, you should lead negotiations, not just translate them. But the physical toll is mounting. Jasmine's hand shakes as she writes. She's barely eaten, been standing for hours. She checks her watch, 9:15. The third job starts in 45 minutes. Omar notices. When did you last eat? Jasmine doesn't look up from notes. Yesterday evening, I think. Omar sounds horrified. You've been working on an empty stomach for over 24 hours? The food budget ran out Tuesday. Payday is Friday. Complete silence. Omar's face shows shock and shame. Mr. Park looks at Ms. Kim, both visibly upset. Patricia stares at her hands. Richard looks genuinely ashamed for the first time. Michael signals the kitchen immediately. Carlos brings out a full meal, sets it in front of Jasmine. On the house, eat. I can't. I need to finish. Omar's voice is firm. Ms. Carter, we will wait. Eat, please. She eats quickly, efficiently, gratefully. Everyone watches in silence. The contrast is devastating. She's facilitating a $400 million deal while rationing food. Final problem. Dispute resolution. Omar wants Dubai arbitration. Richard wants New York. Deadlock. Jasmine suggests Singapore International Arbitration Center. Neutral ground. Recognizes both Sharia and Western commercial law. Explains advantages in both languages. Both sides can save face. Mr. Park nods. That's brilliant. Omar agrees. I can accept that. Richard speaks quietly to Patricia. Why didn't our legal team suggest that 3 months ago? Patricia gives him a pointed look. Maybe they were too expensive to be smart. Final terms settle. Handshakes around the table. Omar and Mr. Park sign a preliminary framework. Richard signs. $400 million deal saved. Omar stands. Ms. Carter, you just facilitated one of my largest contracts, while working 3 jobs, on an empty stomach, while being doubted at every turn. You deserve far more than business cards. The room watches, waiting. Something has fundamentally shifted. Michael stands, addresses the table formally. I need to say something. The room quotes. I've managed this restaurant for 27 years. I've served presidents, CEOs, celebrities, diplomats. I thought I knew how to see people. He looks at Jasmine. Jasmine has worked here 11 months. I've watched her help guests in languages I didn't recognize. I've seen her calm situations I couldn't understand. Guests have complimented her courtesy, professionalism, her natural gift for languages. His voice drops. And I never once asked about her background, never looked past the uniform. He turns fully to Jasmine. I'm sorry it took a crisis for me to see what was right in front of me. You deserved better from me. From all of us. Pause. Effective immediately, I'm offering you International Guest Relations Director. Salary $85,000 annually. Full benefits including health insurance, activating immediately with retroactive coverage for existing medical needs. Jasmine stares. $85,000 is nearly 6 times her current combined income. Mr. Brennan, my other jobs, which pay what combined? Maybe $30,000 yearly? She nods, overwhelmed. This includes a $10,000 signing bonus for 11 months of exceptional work we failed to recognize. Omar speaks next. Ms. Carter, my company operates in 12 countries. We constantly require translators and cultural consultants. He slides his business card across. Not occasional work. Full-time position. Dubai-based if you're willing to relocate, or remote with quarterly travel. Salaries range from $120,000 to $180,000 depending on experience. He looks at Richard pointedly. You have the experience. Mr. Park writes a figure on his business card. Our Seoul office has searched for someone with your Arabic-Korean specialty for 2 years. We've interviewed 47 candidates. None had your combination of linguistic ability and cultural understanding. He shows the card. Starting salary $150,000, plus housing allowance if you relocate, plus completion bonus for helping close our Dubai expansion, Ms. Kim adds. And we'll fund your doctorate, full tuition, living stipend, flexible schedule. Patricia stands. Ms. Carter, I tested you earlier. That was unfair and unprofessional. I apologize. She pauses. My firm has searched for Arabic-Korean expertise for 18 months, but after watching you work, I have a different proposal. We want to create a new division, Multicultural Corporate Solutions. We want you to lead it. Build your own team. Salary $175,000 plus equity in the division. And yes, we'll fund your PhD program. Full tuition and living expenses while you work. 4 business cards sit in front of Jasmine now. Combined, they represent $85,000, $120 to $180, $150, $175. Each one is life-changing. Together, overwhelming. This morning, she was choosing between subway fare and food. Now she has 6-figure offers. Omar pulls out an ornate pen. Clearly expensive, clearly meaningful. In my culture, when someone provides exceptional service, we have a tradition. He places it beside her father's worn pen. This was given to me when I closed my first major contract. I've carried it for 21 years, used it to sign agreements worth billions. The contrast is stark. Father's pen was worn and scratched. Omar's pristine and ornate. Both symbols are the same thing. Language opening doors. I'd like you to have it. Use it when you sign your next chapter. Jasmine's hands shake, staring at the cards, the pens, unable to process. Richard has been silent through all of this, watching the cards pile up, watching the respect pour toward Jasmine. His face shows complex emotions. Then he stands. Omar speaks to Jasmine privately, in Arabic, quiet. He tells her about her father, Darfur, 2004. Peace negotiations. 3 factions, none trusting each other. Her father translated 16-hour sessions. Never an error, never bias. Saved those talks 3 times with precision. Jasmine's voice breaks in Arabic. He died before I understood what he did. I was so young. He died doing what mattered. Language is power. Your father wielded it with integrity. Omar shows more photos. UN compound. Negotiation tables. Her father is working. I have 40 photos from those months. I'll send them all. Tears flow. First time she's broken down. These are pieces of her father she never had. He died before I could tell him I wanted to follow his path. I was 10. You're telling him now. Through your work. He knows. For the first time since her mother died, she isn't alone. Ms. Kim slides the rice candy closer. My grandmother is 94. Survived war, poverty, discrimination. She taught me dignity isn't given. It's chosen. She looks at Jasmine. You chose dignity tonight, when you could have chosen revenge. Richard watches, doesn't understand Arabic, but sees Omar's emotion. Jasmine's tears, photos shared, human connection, not business. Then he sees something else. Jasmine wipes her eyes, straightens, checks her watch. 9:45. Thank you for these, for telling me about him. But I need to finish the contract summary before my next shift. Even now, after crying, after offers, after a breakthrough. She's finishing the work, then going to job 3. Omar's face shows disbelief. What time does it start? 10 p.m., 15 minutes. Where? All-night diner in Queens. I close the kitchen, clean, prep, until 6 a.m. The math is devastating. She's worked since 6 a.m., 15 hours, 45 minutes. 15 minutes to get to Queens, then 8 more hours, then morning shift again, 24-hour cycle. Omar stands. No. Excuse me? You're not going. I'm calling them. What's the name? I can't afford to miss. How much per night? $80. Omar pulls out his wallet, counts. 500, covers a week. You're taking tonight off, tomorrow, the rest of the week. Go home, sleep, eat, then decide which offer changes your life. Mr. Park pulls out his checkbook. Signing bonus, effective immediately. 15,000, Patricia writes. Hours too. 10,000, Michael adds, as is ours. 10,000, 3 checks, 35,000 total, 500 cash. On the table, more money than she's seen in years. Omar's phone buzzes. He checks the email. His face falls. We have a significant problem. Richard looks up. What now? My board just sent revised terms. They've restructured the entire equity agreement. 14 pages, in Arabic, legal and financial language. He shows his phone. They require my approval before my flight. I board in 90 minutes. Richard's voice rises. 90 minutes? That's impossible. We'd need a full legal team to review. Then we table the deal. Reconvene next quarter. Next quarter? The market window closes. I'm sorry, Mr. Ashford. Without proper review, I cannot sign. Patricia reviews the email on her laptop. 14 pages of Arabic legal and financial terminology. Even with a full translation team, this would take days. We'd need to verify every clause, check conflicts with existing terms, and ensure compliance. Richard looks desperate. Can't we extend your flight? I have a board meeting in Dubai tomorrow morning, non-negotiable. Everyone starts talking at once, panic setting in. Jasmine speaks, quietly. I can do it. Richard doesn't hear her. Patricia, call our Arabic consultant. Louder. I can translate it. 60 minutes. The room stops. Richard laughs. Sharp. Disbelieving. You can't possibly. I can do it. I'll translate the document, note conflicts with existing terms, flag areas requiring negotiation, and summarize key changes. 60 minutes. Omar hesitates. Jasmine, these are binding legal terms from a Dubai corporate board. Highly specialized terminology. Sharia-compliant finance structures. Dubai commercial law. Islamic banking principles. Errors could cost both companies hundreds of millions. Are you absolutely certain? Jasmine picks up her father's pen, picks up Omar's pen, holds both. My father translated ceasefire agreements where errors meant people died. I translated my thesis on Arabic-Korean financial diplomacy while my mother was dying in hospice. I can translate a contract. Patricia speaks. Even if you can translate, how will we verify accuracy? You have the internet, translation apps, your Yale education in Arabic. Check every word if you need to, but let me work. Omar looks at Richard. It's your risk. What do you decide? Richard stares at Jasmine. Long pause. 1 hour, but if there are any doubts, any uncertainties, you stop immediately. Understood? Understood. They clear space. Move to a private section. Bring additional lighting. Spread 14 pages across a large table. Michael brings water, coffee, fresh notepad, extra pens. Jasmine removes her apron. Symbolic. She's not a server now. Ties her hair back, touches mother's necklace, cracks her knuckles. The clock on the wall shows 9:50. Everyone watches from a distance. Omar pacing, Richard sitting, unable to look away. Patricia with laptop open, ready to fact-check. Mr. Park and Ms. Kim conferring quietly. Michael and servers watching their colleague. Other diners are aware something significant is happening. Jasmine begins. First 10 minutes. She reads the entire document, not translating yet, analyzing structure, making notes in margins, color-coding sections, financial, legal, operational. Her system is visible, organized, methodical. Minute 15. First complication. She stops, rereads a section 3 times, calls Omar over. This clause in Section 2.3 contradicts Section 4.7 of the original agreement regarding profit distribution. Was that intentional? Omar reads Arabic. Stunned. No. That's an error from my legal team. If we'd signed this, it would create a legal paradox. Unenforceable contract. Omar turns to Richard. She just saved both of us from a void agreement. Minute 25. Translation flowing now. Pages filled with English translation. Notes in margins explaining nuances. Referencing original contract from memory. Minute 30. She hits a wall. Financial instrument specific to UAE banking. Term she doesn't recognize. Shows frustration for the first time. She can't use a translation app. Gives wrong definition. Can't ask Omar. He's not a banking expert. Stuck. Then she remembers. Pulls out her phone. Opens bookmark. Dubai Financial Services Authority glossary. Finds the term. Cross-references 3 sources. Confirms meaning. Continues. Minute 40. Physical toll visible. Hand cramping severely. She shakes it out. Keeps writing. Sweat on forehead. Eyes burning from focus. Doesn't stop. Michael brings fresh water. Damp cloth for her forehead. Whispers. You're incredible. Keep going. Minute 50. Almost done. Final pages flying. She's exhausted but focused. Everyone is watching the clock. 52, 55, 58, minute 60. She sets down the pen. Finished. Slides her notebook to Omar. 14 pages of Arabic became 18 pages of English notes. She included analysis. Her presentation is clear. The document restructures equity distribution, adds 3 performance milestones, and modifies the dispute resolution framework. Major changes. 1. Equity shifts from 40-60 to 45-55 in your favor, Mr. Al-Rahman, contingent on meeting Q1 2026 targets. 2. New performance milestones, cloud infrastructure deployment by March 2026. 3. They want Dubai courts, not Singapore arbitration. Conflicts with existing terms. Section 2.3 contradicts original 4.7 on profit distribution. Legal error needing correction. Timeline in Section 5 assumes fiscal year versus lunar year, needs clarification. 3 technical terms have multiple interpretations depending on UAE law or international standards. I've noted all 3 for each. Recommendations. Accept equity adjustment, it's conditional and fair. Negotiate timeline to hybrid calendar system. Reject Dubai courts, counter with Singapore to maintain original agreement integrity. Omar reads through. compared to the Arabic original page by page, checks legal interpretations, reviews conflict identifications. His face shows growing astonishment. This isn't just a translation, this is legal analysis. This is what I pay corporate counsel $800 per hour to do. Patricia fact-checks, runs sections through translation software, checks legal terms against databases, verifies Sharia finance terminology. Every check confirms Jasmine is right. Patricia speaks to Richard, stunned. She's perfect. Every translation is accurate, but more, her analysis is sophisticated. The conflict she caught in 2-3? Our legal team missed that in the original contract 3 months ago. Mr. Park nods. The timeline issue, hybrid calendar system. That's diplomatic genius. Solves a problem we've had in every Korea-Middle East deal. Omar stands. Faces Jasmine. Ms. Carter, in 1 hour you did what I expected would take a team of 3 people 2 days to accomplish. You translated flawlessly, caught errors, provided strategic recommendations, potentially saved both companies from litigation. He turns to Richard. And you told her to buy textbooks. Complete silence. Richard's face shows undeniable shame now. Jasmine stands there, exhausted, magnificent, evidence irrefutable. Then she sways, adrenaline fading. 24 hours without proper food, 16 hours of intense work, emotional toll, physical exhaustion. She grabs the table edge. Michael catches her. When did you last eat? She laughs shakily. Carlos brought dinner an hour ago. Before that, yesterday. Omar's voice is shocked. You did all this on 1 meal in 2 days? The full picture is visible now. Working since 6 a.m., 3 jobs, medical debt, no food budget. Just lost her mother. Still excellent, still grace, still successful. Richard finally speaks. The voice changed. Quiet. Why? Why what? Why help me, after what I said, how I treated you? Jasmine is tired, honest. Because the deal deserved to succeed regardless of your ignorance. Because Omar and Mr. Park and Ms. Kim deserved good work. Because my father taught me language serves truth, not ego. She looks at him directly. And because proving you wrong felt better than walking away. 10:15 p.m. The restaurant has filled. Word spread. Word, people came to watch. Omar speaks first. Based on Ms. Carter's analysis, I accept the revised terms with her 2 recommended modifications. Richard nods. Agreed. They sign. Omar uses his pen. Richard uses his. $400 million. Complete. Jasmine made it possible. Richard stands. The entire restaurant goes quiet. All eyes on him. I need to say something. Publicly. He pauses. Visible difficulty. Ms. Carter, Jasmine. He looks directly at her. Earlier tonight I called you uneducated. Multiple times. In front of everyone here. I said you lacked capacity for higher education. I said you didn't have the intellectual foundation to work in this environment. His voice is raw. I assumed, based on your age, your job, your appearance, that you were uneducated, unsophisticated, incapable. He stops, honest now. I'm 54 years old. I built a multi-billion-dollar company. I have an MBA from Wharton. And tonight, the uneducated waitress I humiliated? The voice cracks slightly. She graduated from Columbia University, summa cum laude, at age 20. She speaks 6 languages fluently, more than I could dream of learning. She understands international law, cultural diplomacy, and financial structures across multiple legal systems. She just saved my $400 million deal while I, the educated billionaire, couldn't even use Google Translate correctly. He looks around the room. She is one of the most educated, accomplished, brilliant people I have ever encountered, and I was too blinded by prejudice to see it. Pause. The hard truth is coming. I told her to buy textbooks. She's already mastered material I couldn't understand. I told her to learn something. She's forgotten more than I've ever known about linguistics and international relations. I called her uneducated because she was serving my table. But the truth? Long pause. Painful. I'm the uneducated one, because I never learned the most important lesson. Never judge someone's worth by their job, their age, or their circumstances. Judge them by their character, their integrity, their excellence. And by those measures, Jasmine Carter is more educated than I'll ever be. He picks up the $5 bill, still on the table, holds it up so everyone can see. I gave her this, $5. Told her to buy an education. His voice thick with shame. Her weekly food budget is $5. She's $145,000 in debt from her mother's cancer treatment. She works 3 jobs, sleeps 4 hours a night, hasn't eaten in over 24 hours. And she saved my deal, while I called her uneducated. He folds the bill carefully. I'm keeping this, framing it, putting it in my office where I'll see it every day, as a reminder of the most expensive and most shameful assumption I've ever made. He pulls out his checkbook, writes deliberately, hands the check to Jasmine, $100,000. Collective gasp. This is not payment for tonight, though you earned far more. This is a scholarship. Return to your PhD. Finish what you started. What your father started. His voice softens. I have a daughter your age, Jasmine. She's brilliant, accomplished, full of potential. Tonight I realized if someone treated her the way I treated you, I'd want them to do more than apologize. I'd want them to make it right, to do better. This is me trying to do better. Learning that educated and uneducated have nothing to do with degrees. Everything to do with wisdom, humanity, humility to admit when you're wrong. Tonight, the waitress taught the billionaire, and I'm grateful for the lesson. The applause starts. One table, then another, then everyone standing, phones recording, servers crying, Michael beaming. Everyone is watching. Social media is exploding in real time, multiple live streams. The video is already viral. Comments flooding. I'm crying at work. This is the most beautiful thing I've seen. I'm calling my old server to apologize. Everyone has a story we don't see. Restaurant's account gaining thousands of followers per minute, reservation requests flooding, national news reaching out, the restaurant where it happened. Other servers step forward. David speaks. I start night classes next month, chemical engineering. Thanks to Jasmine, I'm not hiding it anymore, Maria adds. I'm telling my manager about my MBA, asking for the promotion I've been afraid to pursue. Carlos calls from the kitchen. I'm getting my teaching credentials certified. Took 8 years to save. But I'm doing it. Staff sharing stories. Customers listening. Assumptions crumbling. The system is beginning to shift. Patricia stands. I need to revise my earlier offer. Jasmine, we don't just want you to lead a division. We want you to help us redesign how we hire, evaluate talent, see people. New title. VP of Multicultural Strategy and Talent Development. Salary $200,000. Equity 2% of the division. Full PhD funding. We'll build your schedule around classes. But more. We want you to train our entire firm, teach us what we're missing, show us who we're not seeing. Omar speaks next. My original offer stands, but I'm adding something. My company will establish a scholarship fund in your father's name, David Carter Memorial Scholarship for Linguistic Excellence, $500,000 initial funding, for students pursuing translation and diplomatic language careers. You'll serve on the selection committee, help us find the next generation who might be overlooked. Mr. Park and Ms. Kim confer quietly. Then Mr. Park speaks. We'd like you as a consultant for all our Middle East negotiations. Retainer, $10,000 monthly whether we use your services or not. Ms. Kim adds. And we'll donate $250,000 to Columbia's linguistics department in your name to fund students who choose between education and family care. The pile of opportunities grows. Michael, $85,000 plus benefits. Omar, $120 to $180 plus scholarship fund. Mr. Park, $150 plus retainer plus doctorate funding. Patricia, $200,000 plus equity plus training role. Richard, $100,000 scholarship, plus Omar's historic pen. Business cards from 4 companies. Media attention. Platform to advocate. Chance to change the system. Jasmine picks up both pens. Her father's worn fountain pen. Omar's ornate gift. Holds them both. She speaks to the room. My father died translating for peace. My mother died fighting for life. They both taught me the same thing. Excellence doesn't need permission. Dignity doesn't wait for recognition. Worth exists whether or not anyone acknowledges it. Tonight you all saw me. But tomorrow, look around. See the people serving your coffee, parking your cars, cleaning your offices. Ask them their stories. You might find an engineer, a teacher, a poet, a scientist, or you might just remind someone they're human. That's worth more than any job title. Standing ovation, genuine, sustained. Phones recording. People are crying, Jasmine crying, the moment crystallizing. Then she sits, exhausted, overwhelmed, changed, but still herself. Omar hands her his phone. I sent you all 40 photos of your father, but there's one more thing. He pulls up a video file. From the Darfur negotiations, UN archive footage. It's her father, translating, in action. She's never seen a video of him working, just photos. Jasmine watches. Her father's voice. She'd almost forgotten it. She was so young. His intensity, precision, dedication. Her face shows grief and pride and love. Omar speaks softly. You sound like him when you translate. The same rhythm, the same integrity. The legacy is complete. From father to daughter, from invisibility to recognition, from service to leadership. Full circle. 30 days later. December 2025. Jasmine's new life. She accepted Patricia's VP position, $200,000 plus equity, leading multicultural strategy division, part-time while enrolled at Columbia PhD program, full funding from Patricia's firm, quit both other jobs, the diner, the freelance work, her office now, corner office, floor-to-ceiling windows, name on door, Dr. Jasmine Carter, candidate, VP Multicultural Strategy, on her desk, father's worn pen for daily use, Omar's ornate pen for special occasions, $5 bill in small frame, photo of her parents, rice candy wrapper from Ms. Kim, medical debt status, was $145,000, now $8,000, paying the final installment next month. Will be debt-free by January 2026. She used Richard's scholarship, signing bonuses, first paychecks, her team. 4 people have been hired so far. David, former server, now cultural consultant. Former Uber driver with a linguistics PhD. Retired diplomat part-time. Building more. Michael's restaurant transformed. Hidden Talents Initiative launched. Every employee is invited to share education, skills, backgrounds. They found 2 servers with master's degrees. 1 chef with a law degree working on U.S. certification. Dishwasher who's a published poet. Bartender who's a certified accountant. Restructured operations. New role, cultural liaison. Pays $55,000, full benefits. Maria was promoted to operations manager with her MBA. Carlos developed an international menu based on his teaching background. New hiring philosophy. We look for talent first, then teach service. Good people can learn to carry plates. You can't teach excellence. Restaurant impact. Reservations booked 3 months out. International clientele requesting to meet Jasmine's former colleagues. Revenue up 340%. Michael donating 10% of profits to adult education programs. Richard's transformation. He established the Second Chances in Education Fund. $5 million initial investment. Focus on people who left school due to family emergencies, medical crises, caregiving. Priority for single parents, caregivers, medical debt holders. Named after his daughter. Sarah Ashford, Second Chance Scholarship. First recipients. 12 people ranging in age 22 to 54. 3 former servers. 2 nurses who left school for sick parents. 1 immigrant whose credentials weren't recognized. Full tuition plus living stipend plus childcare support. Richard keeps the $5 bill framed in his office. Shows it in every company meeting. Mandatory unconscious bias training for all executives, led by Jasmine's team. Changed company hiring practices. Blind resume reviews for the first round. He gives talks now on leadership and humility. Shares the story publicly with Jasmine's permission. Donates speaking fees to scholarship fund. Omar's Legacy Project. David Carter Memorial Scholarship established. $500,000 fund. 5 scholarships awarded in the first year. Students pursuing translation and interpretation with conflict resolution focus. Jasmine serves on the selection committee. Her father's photo in UN headquarters with a memorial plaque. The ripple effect spreads. 12 high-end NYC restaurants adopted Hidden Talents programs. National Restaurant Association created Beyond the Uniform initiative. Focus on identifying and supporting employees' education, skills, career goals. Now expanding to hotels, retail, service industries nationwide. Corporate world shifting. Patricia's multicultural strategy model being replicated. 15 Fortune 500 companies hired similar consultants. Finding overlooked talent within the existing workforce. Talent doesn't always look like what you expect. Columbia established the Jasmine Carter Re-Entry Scholarship for students who left due to family emergencies. 8 other universities created similar programs, addressing the missing generation, people with talent but interrupted paths. The media movement grew. Hashtag Seen Not Servant. 15 million posts across platforms. People sharing stories of overlooked talent. Employers posting about employees they discovered. Hashtag I was overlooked, joined it. People sharing experiences, building community, advocacy for systemic change. Statistics went viral. 43% of restaurant workers have college degrees. 68% of service workers have skills unrelated to current jobs. $1.6 trillion in student and medical debt affects 45 million Americans. How much talent are we wasting because people can't afford to use it? Jasmine's final image. At her desk. Late afternoon. Golden light. Reviewing applications for her team. Behind her. Team meeting in progress. Diverse, engaged, thriving. On her screen. Email from Columbia. PhD dissertation proposal approved. Title: Linguistic Bridges in Post-Conflict Economic Development. A study of Arabic-Korean trade negotiations. She picks up Omar's pen, signs the approval form, sends an email to her father's old UN colleagues. Omar connected them. They agreed to be dissertation advisors. A knock on her door. Young woman, 19, Latina, nervous. She has an interview for a translator position. Jasmine smiles. Come in, and please, call me Jasmine. What's your story? The cycle continues. Jasmine seeing others the way she wanted to be seen. Legacy passing forward. Excellence, recognizing excellence. Circle complete. Final words. That night started with one word. Uneducated. It was meant as an insult, dismissal, a way of making someone invisible. But Jasmine Carter proved that uneducated is just what people call you when they're too lazy or too prejudiced to ask your story. Because education isn't about degrees on walls. It's about opening your mind, asking questions, seeing people. And sometimes the most educated person in the room is the one everyone assumed wasn't. This week, have one conversation with someone whose job title you think you know. Don't ask what you do. Ask what's your story. You might find a translator, a doctor, an engineer, a poet. You might find the solution you've been searching for. Or you might just remind someone they exist beyond the uniform. That alone is worth it. If this story moved you, share it. Leave a comment. I see you. For someone who's been overlooked. Subscribe for more stories that matter. Because the next time someone says just a waitress or just a driver or just a worker, remember Jasmine. And look again. Never call someone uneducated. You might be talking to someone who could teach you everything.
The story you heard today wasn't cleaned up. It was told exactly as it happened. At Black Voices Uncut, we believe that's the only way truth can live. If you felt something, hit like, comment, and your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices that refuse to be silenced.